Grand Carnival is taking over Kings Island now through August 1st. Experience the opening celebration at 5 p.m. when the park erupts with sights, sounds, and flavors from all around the world. Join the spectacle of color, a dazzling parade of floats, performers, music, and beads that sweeps across the park. And enjoy unique food, drinks, and fireworks while dancing to music until the park closes. Don't miss the celebration as big as the park. Get the best deal on tickets at visitkingsisland.com. It's amazing in here.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel, joined by Damon McDonald. We're recording using Zencastr today. Very exciting. So if it sounds different or better or worse, don't tell us. I don't care.
I guess the problem originally came because, like, remember that conversation that we had earlier about not being able to record guests and just that stress about it. Well, I magnify that by 700, and then because I'm redoing my office just to get some sense of organization, and it was just so cluttered and just such a stressful area. I just didn't want any part of it. So I started redoing everything, and then I was like, all right, well, how can I streamline a lot of this process? So, like, I got rid of my mixing board, and I got rid of my recorder, and I was just looking for alternatives to record the show, and you actually did a little bit of homework, and I don't know, I just needed something that was a little bit less cluttered and stressful, and so far this seems to be working, but we'll see. If it doesn't work, then there'll be a postponed show. This show will never see the light of air, but we're hoping it'll be good. Yeah, we did a test run and it sounded fine, Rachel.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay. Baby run-ins notwithstanding. We got a packed show today, Damon, so I say we get straight into the wrestling.
No.
I want to open up with a question from our friend at Voices of Wrestling, Sean Seedor, who would like us to talk about the Bryan Danielson rumors. So there's a bit of scuttlebutt a few weeks ago that these alleged negotiations between WWE and New Japan were prompted by Danielson wanting to work New Japan. And now there's some heavy rumors that he's going to be involved with AEW and also, again, still has a desire to work New Japan. So I mean, this is something I'd love to see. I think he's a tremendous wrestler. I kind of would prefer to wait until we can have proper crowds in Japan, because it would just be, for me, really depressing to see Bryan Danielson appearing in a New Japan ring finally and just to light applause. So personally, I would rather hold off on it until we can get some rabid yelling and screaming. But all the same, it's an exciting possibility, isn't it?
It is. And I'm all for it. And to answer the question, I'd see it at any point. And especially with the way things are in the past 2 years, I don't think you can count on anything being set in stone when it comes to plans or how ideally we'd want to debut a guy like that. I remember older Purecast shows, and the conversation was always about, the running joke was always about bringing him in and him, making his debut and all that. I'm as excited for that as I was back then. So bring him in any, not in any way possible, but let's make it as exciting and let's think about it and what's going to be the best course of action. But bring him in.
Let me lay out a scenario. Danielson comes out, jam-packed Korakuen Hall, gets a microphone. I've been waiting this moment all my life, ready to wrestle and the famous blue mat, and then suddenly Dick Togo behind with the garrote choking him. Evil comes out. Yeah, there we go. We got our first feud lined up.
Yeah, that'd be nice one. That's a dream scenario. Look, I can't think of this being a bad scenario for anybody involved. And even if it happens, AEW wise first, which I think will happen, right? I think he'll more than likely debut in. I heard we don't know. Let's put it that way. But I mean, all signs point to that New York show that they did very well ticket wise with being a strong likelihood, right? So when you get a guy like that, and you get a talented guy like that, and he could still go, and he has the desire to go, and he has he has the want to go to New Japan. I think it's a perfect fit, and that's exciting. I mean, the possibilities of just some of those dream up matchups that we would laugh about a few years ago. They might be coming home. So, I don't.
Any at the top of your mind, Damon? Just two have popped into my head. One, Danielson versus Tanahashi, special singles match at Tokyo Dome, and the second would be Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr., which would be tremendous.
How about that? I mean, wouldn't that be like the match of just about? I mean, if we're taking the Observer Awards for what they are, was it the Technical Wrestler Award? Didn't they win?
Yeah.
Like it was just like both those guys
between the pair of them were just like locked up for the past decade.
Yeah, I mean that's exciting to think about what they could do with that. Oh my God! I mean, you go down the entire roster, Joel. I mean, you mean to tell me you wouldn't want to see even something like Sonata, even something like Ishii, even go? I mean, just go down the roster. I mean, there's not many people I would be like, no, I really don't want to see that. Okay, Dick Togo aside, there's nothing. There's nothing where I would be like, now again, do I want to start off out of the gate hot feud with Evil? Probably not. I think there's better ways we could start. But yeah, I mean, Shingo and Ibushi. I mean, God. I mean, you start to salivate thinking about what you have in front of you. And the possibilities and the interesting stuff that can go on, and talk about like putting the jumper cables on, and not that the promotion is dying and it's at a level where it's completely dull and boring. We're nowhere close to that. But I tell you what, you do that, you've found a way to answer a lot of questions about where you stand with not only a Japanese audience but a North American audience. It's exciting if the rumors are true.
Another person who's been talking a lot about wanting to work New Japan is Malachi Black, formerly Aleister Black, Tommy End. Is that something that excites you? You think that's likely to be happening?
I mean, obviously not as excited as the first option. I
think what it is, though. Like, he's a really good wrestler, and I've enjoyed watching him wrestle. But all of the interviews that he's done since his WWE release have just absolutely killed his like coolness and credibility, to the point every time I see his name popping up, like, oh, Malachi Black says, I've got my head in my hands, like, just shut up, man, just please, enough. But putting all that aside, great wrestler, and actually, I think Malachi Black versus Evil feud would be quite entertaining. So just throwing that Evil out there.
That's not bad. I wouldn't have a problem with that one. And again, I think in the end, it's how are these guys being used? But I wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, there have been worse guys that they've signed. That's for darn sure. Look, we spent a good 2 years talking about doors being opened and all this stuff, and how the promotion is willing to work with another promotion, but they're not, too keen on working with one guy. And even that seems to be taken care of, which all wrestling issues seem to, when it comes down to how can we make money. Look, I feel what's bubbling and what's brewing, and even not even that, Joel. It's happening as we're sitting here. It's an exciting time. I mean, there is a lot of like moving parts to this that only benefit wrestling fans. Like if you're one of those people that like you've drawn a line in the sand and it's like I'm a New Japan guy and that's that and that those are the only people that I think are having any difficulty with this. Like if you are going to be buried with a New Japan flag in your coffin, I mean, I don't know. You're in for a bumpy ride. But for people who are just kind of like, all right, give me the best of what I can get, and give me the best of what pro wrestling can offer. What's the downside to all this? I don't see it. All right, are we going to get guys maybe involved in New Japan that wouldn't be the prototypical New Japan guy? Probably, right? Are we going to get people that maybe we don't necessarily are fans of? Okay, maybe. But then you have options and possibilities that are around the corner that really excite you. If you love pro wrestling, this is like, it might be a little late, maybe everybody would have preferred this to be maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but okay, I still think there's plenty of gas in the tank. And guys can still go and go at a high level. I don't know how you can't be excited about this.
Yeah, I mean, just watching that New Japan Rambo at the start of Wrestle Grand Slam and looking at the NJPW undercards, I'm thinking, you know what? Let's roll the dice with bringing in some cards. And look, if you are one of these New Japan on my coffin bumpy ride people, you're going to have a bumpier ride than the Big Show's dad.
What?
No, nothing. Yeah, the big boss man thing when he hijacked Big Show's dad's coffin at his funeral and he's driving off with it. It would have been funnier if I said that about 5 minutes ago after you first mentioned the joke, but I didn't want to interrupt you. So let's move on. I want to talk to you, Damon, about Lance Archer and Jon Moxley, because they had a very intense no disqualification style match for the IWGP US title. And in a surprise to many, myself included, Lance Archer was the winner. And it was one Hikuleo who came out to challenge. So Hikuleo will be challenging for that title on Dynamite. So a lot of stuff going on here. So friend of the show, John says, is Hikuleo ready to take the IWGP US heavyweight title from my man Lance Archer this Wednesday? Or do you see Lance keeping it for a while? And how did you feel about the match with Mox if you watched it? Much love to you guys. Hashtag Texas.
Hashtag Texas. I remember them down in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, there's a little cowboy hat on. It's awesome. Good guys. Good family. Good family there. Father-son team there. I did see the match. It was good, right?
It's good fun. I mean, the sort of match you don't really see in New Japan very often. It wasn't much of a wrestling match, but it was short. It was entertaining. It was violent and
shocking end.
Maybe, yeah. I was going to say, like, how did it compare to you for their previous match of that style they did at Wrestle Kingdom a couple of years ago?
I mean, I would say equal. I mean, it's kind of. I rate these kind of matches, and I hate sitting there rating matches, but like my level of enjoyment is almost like a Yano match in the sense of, all right, how many laughs did I get? How many oof did I get? How many times that I just cringe at the TV in a good way? Watching these guys, it was good. I'm more surprised with they said, okay, Lance, you're gonna not only hold the title, but you're gonna win the title, right? I mean, think about this: a New Japan title changed hands on an AEW show. It doesn't happen every day.
Not only that, but give to a guy who left New Japan to work for AEW. So can put to it, not that there were any, but if you suspected that there might have been a bit of animosity or bad blood that New Japan might have been resenting the fact that Lance Archer left, absolutely not. So. It's exciting, and I was quite surprised by Hikuleo because I'm not sure if he's ready for that, but I would love to be proved wrong. I mean, I'm not saying he's not ready for it, but I've certainly got a raised eyebrow towards this match. How do you feel about it? Do you think Hikuleo is likely to win?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I mean, you're talking as if he's walking away with a title and he's representing the United States, as that belt signifies, Joel. I don't think he wins. Do you think he wins? I mean, I think he challenges, obviously, but I don't think he wins. But here's the thing.
Because
who knows,
Sorry,
right?
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, who knows, right? The way things
Because
are
we've
going.
got the Resurgence show coming up, and you'd think you'd want the IWGP US title featured prominently there. But Lance Archer wasn't announced for that, so I mean, it could be that he is on that show. So
Right.
nothing's stopping them from doing that. I think that would be more of an exciting prospect. You know, Lance Archer coming on Resurgence to defend the US title than Hikuleo defending it. With all the respect and love to Hikuleo, but I would give Hikuleo a 20% chance of winning.
Yeah, I think it's a fair number. I mean, this match, can it not happen on the LA show? I mean, it might not be the first one, but in some way or fashion, we can't squeeze this match on the show.
It's going to be on Dynamite, isn't it? I thought they'd already announced it.
Okay, so but what I'm saying is that does it have to end there? I guess, right?
Oh, you mean have a rematch?
Rematch, belt held. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. However you want to do it. I mean, let's put it this way. I don't think Lance Archer is going to be like, no, I'm not going to. I mean, unless he's double booked and he's getting a bigger payday. You don't think Lance Archer would be like, all right, I'll be more than happy to be on that show?
Yeah, I'm sure he would. I'm just sort of thinking about the possibilities. Maybe this is like a gateway for some sort of Bullet Club stuff.
Everything is.
Get involved.
I mean, give me something that at this point is not a gateway to some Bullet Club stuff. Yeah,
apparently I'm in the Bullet Club as well. I don't even remember signing up for it. But
when you get that credit card, you get a free membership. You get frequent flyer miles and a membership to Bullet Club.
Jay White just turned up at my house and presented me with a Bullet Club shirt. I was like, okay, sure,
right. That'd be funny.
Speaking of which,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I was just going to babble on about Lance Archer. But
we have apparently set up for Impact a tag team contest coming up with Jay White teaming up with Chris Bay, who we mentioned last time, to take on the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. A classic catch says, why in God's name do you not send Jay White to AEW? So what are your thoughts on Jay doing all his appearances in Impact instead of All Elite?
Who says that he doesn't show up at All Elite?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable at some point. If he's sticking around in the US for long enough, why? Yeah, surely you would do that, pull the trigger on that at some point.
I mean, it was somewhat shocking to me to have an angle like that on. I don't want to say a lesser show, like an Impact show, but let's be honest with you. I mean, if we're being truthful here, more eyeballs are going to be on an AEW show, which again throws everything that we've and me being that way is mostly because you're kind of taught and conditioned certain things in pro wrestling over the years of, okay, here's how it is. And then once again, those rules are thrown right the fuck out the window with this. It feels like there are no rules. Like those usual staple, don't do this here, save it for this, and blah blah blah. That's at least in the short term, Joel. It feels like all that is thrown the fuck out the window. It doesn't matter. They're going to do shit to do shit when they can do shit. Now, again, to answer the question, Jay White showing up on an AEW show, I think, is a given. I think that happens. Right, why not if he's in the United States? But, yeah, I mean, it's spread across. The problem is this now. You got to watch everything. You know what I mean? Or at least stay on top of everything. Like, it feels like, if you're not watching Impact, or at least have your eyeballs pointed there during the week, you miss shit. It's like every place is now becoming a thing where you got to watch. I mean, you got to watch AEW, right? To a certain degree. And here's the thing too. I mean, listen, again, we do a New Japan Pro Wrestling podcast. I haven't seen anything where I'm like so disgusted by it, where it's like, or so bored by it, or it's so awful. Like, the product that they're putting out is just such not where I'll never watch again. Like, I could sit and watch an AEW show and be totally fine. And I watched a little bit of that Slammiversary show, and that was good too. Like,
especially now that they've got crowds back, it is very appealing and attractive watching an exciting US wrestling show with a hot crowd.
Yeah, I mean, across the board. So it's like this is an exciting time, and you'd have to go back quite a few years to have this much interaction between promotions. Like I'm seriously talking a long time between all these different promotions, and we haven't even talked about the possibilities of other ones joining the mix. Have we really discussed Rev Pro at all? Have we discussed Ring of Honor at all? Have we discussed even in a way that's a little bit negative with the Mexican promotions? But we haven't really even talked about that their involvement and when they get back into the mix and when that talent can start getting used again. Like, whew. I mean, look, I keep saying it on each show. If I'm New Japan, my focus is the United States, man. Like, that's where the money is right now. And I would just, let's go. Bring the guys over if you can. Rent out an apartment complex and run fucking shows. That seems like, I don't know. It seems like a no-brainer to me. But run some fucking shows. Get over here. And I'm looking at like big shows. You mean to tell me? I set my sights on Madison Square Garden. I use Madison Square Garden as the litmus. But it doesn't even have to be that. If they shot their sights on a stadium show, Joel, I'm talking a collaborative effort here, mind you. AEW, New Japan, Impact, everybody. Could they do a stadium? Do you think they could do a stadium? Why not? Again, an NFL stadium, 60,000. You think they could do that with the right card, or am I out of my mind?
I don't know. I'm not sure we are far enough out of the COVID tunnel that 60,000 people would be happy to pack themselves into a stadium. Although,
they already are. I mean, they're for other sports. They are for other sports. They are.
That's true. Yeah, they did it at Wembley Stadium in the UK. So
yeah.
I don't know if New Japan really committed to it, sent over their top names, and put on some dream matches, then that's a big number.
It's a big number. It's a gutsy move. Do you think they could do it?
60,000.
Come on.
I don't know if. What was the capacity of the NXT show we saw? Just so I'm just trying to get
at Barclays Center. It's I would say it's about 17.
Okay, right. much bigger than that.
Yeah. You're talking a football stadium.
That's a difficult question. What do you think?
Maybe I'm just riding high.
When you got to put, you'd need like your peak matches that Omega versus Okada 5.
You
You got to send everyone.
Okay. How about you got D-Bry coming? If
CM Punk.
That's another name that we haven't even mentioned, right? Right? You mean to tell me those two guys plus Jericho plus Kenny plus Tanahashi plus Okada plus Shingo plus maybe Hiromu. You mean to tell me that wouldn't fucking do it? And again, you matches have to be sexy. Like you can't just put fucking, Kenny versus Evil. Right? You mean to tell me they couldn't do that? Punk? Bryan Danielson? Kenny? Mox? Jericho? Okada? Tanahashi? Shingo?
Cody. Cody's a draw.
Sure.
Whatever you might think about his wrestling ability, the guy does come across as a big star.
Right. You mean to tell me, again, pick a good spot. We're not running this in the fucking University of Iowa. We're going for a major metro market here where people can fly in. You build this properly. Joel, they could do 60. They could do 60.
Yeah, you've convinced me. I think they could.
Okay, so now it's like, okay, so
when are we doing it?
Yeah, when are we doing it? Yeah,
the money's there. It's on the table. The money's on the table.
The money's on the table. The money is on the table. Now again, here's the problem. Costs, is it going to be financially worth something like that to do? Again, you're not post-COVID, and again, we're not even post anything yet in this country because, we have variants and Joel's struggling with it right now. But vaccinated people, open air football stadium, outdoors, big show, and literally, figuratively and literally, big show will be there.
Not his dad. I would love to see the show for no other reason than to just rattle the cage of Vince McMahon. Imagine that. Imagine the look on his face.
Yeah,
seeing a stadium show with other companies selling out.
Yeah,
he would be fucking fuming.
Oh, fuming! He would be. He would be on fire underneath that dinosaur head of his. That dinosaur head. Stupid. Is it a dinosaur? Am I wrong? It's a dinosaur, isn't it? In his office, he's a gigantic dinosaur head. What a maniac! I
don't know.
Look it up. Google that shit. Okay. Google that shit. I think isn't it a dinosaur head or like a fuck? I want to say it's a dinosaur head. I could be dead wrong. Watch it be like, no, it's a goat, dude.
Yeah, no, oh my goodness. Yeah, seems to be a T-Rex skull fossil in his office.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
Remember we went up there and we had the meeting with Vince and he was like, we do the pot. Oh, whoops.
Yeah, but I was facing the other direction. So
right. You didn't see it. Right.
I was sitting in Vince's chair, so I had this T-Rex skull behind me.
You ever see that Curb episode where it's like the power play in the chair and they run to the chair? Curb's so great.
It's probably why we didn't get the gig. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, come on, Joel. We could have been rich.
I was wondering why you were pulling faces at me when I sat down.
We could be the next Sam Roberts.
The next Peter Rosenberg.
Come on. So anyway, 60,000, book it, right? But then let me ask you something. Isn't that more exciting to you? The possibilities of that and kind of thinking and working that out in your head and getting pumped up for a show that could be, again, whether it's going to happen or not. I kind of do care, but it's more of, okay, it's the anticipation. Like we have things that are a bubble in here. And here's my only problem. And again, so far, so good. New Japan doesn't have the best history of making making these scenarios work out long term great. Like they start out hot and then something happens and it dies out, or some shit fucking, wrestling gets in the way. Pro wrestling gets in the way. I'm telling you, they could do this. They could absolutely do this. And again, how does it hurt anyone? Everyone makes money. Everyone gets eyeballs on their product. There's a buzz and a feeling of anticipation. And again, I'm sitting here talking about a live gate. And I don't know what it is anymore with, people finding pirated streams and all that shite. But even from a pay-per-view number, wouldn't that do well? I would think that would do well. I would think that, if you can't make the show, you'd plop down $30 to fucking watch that shit, right? I think everybody would. I don't see how this would be a losing proposition for anyone, especially when everybody's trying to get back into the black on their financial leisures. So we'll see. It's there. Let's put it this way: it's there. It's there for the take. And if ticket sales in New York were any indication, and they put on the right product and they debut these people that are rumored to come, I'm telling you, they could fucking do it and do it well. And if New Japan's involved in that, as they should be, that's the shit. And again, I'm not talking about bringing over just fucking Yuji Nagata. You know what I mean? Like, you got to bring over some big guns and have some big, sexy matches for this to work. But it could work.
Okay, let's move on to talking about some of the matches that took place last week. So we started off with Summer Struggle in Osaka. We had a double-header on July 22nd and 23rd in the Osaka Prefectural Gymnasium. So we had two singles matches headlining the show. Special singles match between Sanada and Zack Sabre Jr., which ended in 24 minutes, 21 seconds with a double pinfall. And then main event with Taichi defeating Tetsuya Naito in 24 minutes, 21 seconds with the Black Mephisto. And then the following night on the 23rd, we had, let me find it, the fifth match was Sanada defeating Taichi in 23 minutes, 20 seconds with an O'Connor Bridge. And then the main event of Naito defeating Zack in 25 minutes, 1 second with the Destino. So I enjoy these matches a lot. I'm a big fan of three of these guys, and I think they bring out the best in Sanada as well. So the Zack versus Sanada match, I think that's a really good pairing. I like the fact that there was good sportsmanship. They shook hands at the start of it, and then it was like one-upsmanship. Like these two guys who they don't hate each other, they quite like each other, and they enjoy wrestling each other. They want to find out who the better man is, who the better wrestler is. There's no sort of animosity or hatred there. They actually quite like each other, and there's like a good, satisfying sense of escalation there. They got increasingly frustrated. They started laying into each other with forearms, but then sort of trying to catch each other off guard by launching back into like surprise flash pins or submission attempts. I thought they played with the pace of the match quite nicely there. I think that these two guys, Zack and Sanada, do the flash pin attempt back and forth better than any combo in New Japan, actually. It's very smooth, very fun to watch. And a bit of hubris at the end with Sanada not going for the pin after the rounding body press. He wanted the submission, which led to the double pin. I know a lot of people complained about that. I quite liked it. I thought it was fun. And then I enjoyed them going at it after the match with
post-match,
the attempts. Yeah, so, like I said, they don't hate each other. They just want to prove that they're better. So that was a lot of fun. Should I just talk about all four of those matches? Naito versus Taichi. Again, notable here. We've seen this match quite a lot in the past, but this one had absolutely no cheating. No rule breaking from Taichi. Suzuki-gun, they're not heels. They're not a heel faction anymore. I always enjoy Naito against dickheads like Taichi or Jay White, where they can wind each other up. And I think Naito's more enjoyable that way, rather than being a pure baby face. And this one was just like a dick measuring contest with the escalating exchange of strikes. And I got to say, I think Taichi might be my favourite closing stretch guy in the business, because the fact that he sort of works in little sumo references as well, because I don't know if you clocked it at the time, Damon, but Taichi, being a big sumo guy, used the Hakuho elbow, which I asked you to watch last week. Yeah. So he did that big elbow strike at the end of his match to help him beat Naito, which I thought was incredibly cool.
Yeah.
Exactly, ticking all my boxes there. And then the following day, Sanada versus Taichi, that was the match that we hadn't really seen much of before and had question marks about. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I liked the titty bounce off at the start. That was fun. And you've got to say, Dangerous Tech is their miracle workers, because not only have they resurrected the tag division, but they've also made Sanada entertaining. So they got plenty going for them. And I just thought that was a great way to start a match. Taichi, he's one of the most creative guys in the roster, I think. Stuff like this and the sumo, the kicking match he had with Ibushi. I think he's always got cool ideas to shake things up. They don't always work. I'm thinking of that Izuka pre-match attack on Naito back in 2019, the Iron Fingers ladder match as well. But he's always trying new stuff, which I applaud. And I thought it was a really great opponent for Sanada. You pushed that intensity on him, which I thought led to some great sequences. And I think when you wrestle Sanada, you've got to bring 75% of the energy and the dynamism, right. and he will feed off of that. But to give him credit, Sanada, I thought he did a lot of new stuff here. There were some really ambitious sequences. I think he often just sort of cycles through his basic moves there without doing anything unique. But that wasn't the case here or against Zack. And I think these are two opponents where a Sanada match is more than the sum of its parts, which is something you can't always say. And I really like this one. I thought the finish with a clutch into the O'Connor bridge was really cool. So there might be hope for Sanada as a singles wrestler yet. But, here's a bigger question I thought watching this. What is Taichi missing? What is stopping? Why can't he be a top single star? Why can't he be challenging for heavyweight IWGP World Heavyweight Gold? Because he can work the style. His promos are great. He's creative. He's over with the fans. Every time he's put in big spots over the last couple of years, he's delivered. Maybe this is just me being crazy, but I think he should be getting a big push. I don't know if he's sort of conventionally attractive or not. I think he's very handsome. But, Bushiroad can be a bit funny about looks, and they tend to gravitate towards giving the big pushes to the people with their sort of conventional sort of matinee idol good looks. So that was Sanada versus Taichi. And Zack versus Naito, it was good. I don't have anything more to say about it. I've seen better matches between them. There wasn't anything particularly memorable, but they're two of my favourite wrestlers. And, of course, if they have a big main event together, it's going to be good. And it was good. So there you go. I enjoyed all four of these singles matches.
Yeah, me too. And it's funny that you mentioned Sanada in this. He's a guy that, we love to, I don't want to say love to hate, but, you don't necessarily look forward to seeing Sanada in a singles match. There is something to be said about the fact that this tag scenario has put some new life in him. And even his performances in a singles capacity seem a little bit fresher. Not even a little bit fresher, a lot fresher. And maybe it kind of sparks him. Like, to me, he is a tag team wrestler. And for all the right reasons. It hides his, I don't want to say laziness is certainly not the word, but his indifference. And sometimes that indifference comes across as a little bit, we're not working as hard, or we're not trying as hard. And it's probably not even the case, but it's just you're perceiving it as. And it feels like the tag team scenario hides a lot of that element with him. So the biggest, I don't want to say question mark, but the biggest issue that we had with those four guys was him. But if you just tone down that a little bit, which again, it feels like it has during this whole run, you get some good shit out there. Right? You're getting some really good matches. Again, not that no, we're not throwing snowflakes around here, but everything was watchable. Nothing was terrible. In fact, they were quite enjoyable, and to me, helped me get even more into the tag title match. I was surprised a bit though by some of the like if you go through that entire weekend and leading up to Wrestle Grand Slam, Naito seemed like he was the dog, wasn't he? To me, anyway. Like, it felt like he was looking at the lights more often than not, which was kind of shocking. Taichi's.
Well, if you look at the results, it was Zack who got the worst of it, because he had a draw and a defeat. Right. So Sanada had a draw and a win. Taichi had a win and a loss, and Naito also had a win and a loss. So it was Zach who was sort of bottom of the pile if you wanted to have like a little league scenario there. So I guess it kind of figured what would happen in the tag title match at the Dome. But we'll come on to that later. But
Tai Chi,
I thought it was sort of evenly booked there.
Yeah, Tai Chi, great. It's amazing what he has become, right? Almost somebody that you look forward, or at least a guy like me would look forward to. Where, again, rewind the clock, it was just, instant fast forward.
Can I quickly throw in a question from a listener? So Nehek says, great performances from Taichi on the Osaka shows. Really enjoyed the tribute to Hakuho Terunofuji bout in the Naito match. Which opponents would you like to see Taichi face in the coming G1? So is there any singles opponents off the top of your head that you haven't seen Taichi face, or you've already seen him face, but you'd like to see him face again?
He always works really well with Ishii, right? I mean, that might be first and foremost. See that again. I'm trying to think of like guys who would work. Like, I don't think a guy like Okan is something that's going to help Taichi. Do you? Like,
I'm going to throw a curveball at you. I think Evil would be a good opponent.
Really?
I'm just thinking how good the Evil Zack match was, and I think Taichi's got the similar dynamics there. He's a kind of scumbag the lovable scumbag, and I think the sort of dynamics between the two of them will be quite fun.
How about Jeff Cobb?
Yeah, we've seen that a few times.
Yep.
They feuded over the Never title.
Yep.
And I think the matches have they have improved.
Both guys
have improved.
Yep, both guys have improved tremendously. Both guys feel different and fresh from when they were, even back then, with those Never chances. Like, I would look forward to that. Again, I don't know if like Okan would be one of those guys I would put on a list. I'm trying to think of guys that maybe we haven't necessarily seen a lot of. But if you think about it, he's really worked a lot of this roster. There's not a lot of guys that are on that roster that he hasn't had a decent match with, right?
Yeah, I'm sort of racking my brains for people like big names that he hasn't faced. I can't think of any notable matches he's had with Okada. Oh no, he did. Of course,
Yeah.
they had a G1 match, and they also had a match at, I want to say, New Beginning last year. I remember it was at the start of the year. So no, he's wrestled everyone. He's completed
really
the game.
has.
He's cleaned out the whole roster.
I mean, it feels like it, doesn't it? I mean, there might be a guy that we're completely missing, but it feels like it. It feels like it. I mean, maybe Will's not expected back for this, right?
I don't know. G1, a lot of people seem to think he's out. I have a feeling that he'll be back for G1.
I saw pictures of him in the gym flexing. Yeah, I mean, what do we got? About a month from now, we're talking G1, maybe a little bit more. Give me your chances of Will Ospreay in G1.
60%.
60%. I think he's in. What do you think of that? I think he's in G1. Which would open some fucking great matches. And again, I don't want to sit here and be like, well, we got something in our back pocket. Can you imagine? Let's think of this. Let's just pause. Let's close our eyes. Let's think of this one. D-Bry, as Booker T would like to say, D-Bry in G1 is closer to happening than it's ever been. Can you imagine? Am I getting a boner over something that I'm just, this is a possibility, right?
I would say this year, possible if erring on the side of unlikely. Next year, as things open up a bit, I would say that's probable.
That's the whole thing.
I think that's exactly the sort of thing that he would love to do. Like a guy like him, if he's serious about wrestling, that will be on his bucket list.
COVID. Because he's not going to quarantine for 2 fucking weeks or whatever it takes to get in there, right? That's not happening. He's got a family. He's got kids, all that shit. No. I doubt that happens. But again, as I said before, stranger fucking things have happened. Oh, well. We can dream.
All right, let's talk about New Beginning Summer Struggle in Nagoya on Saturday, July 24th. So, top 2 matches were Evil defeating Tomohiro Ishii in 28 minutes, 7 seconds with Evil. Yep. And then the main event was Tanahashi defeating Kenta in 24 minutes, 51 with a high-five flow. Evil versus Ishii, I mean, for the most part, I enjoyed this one more than I usually enjoy Evil matches. I enjoyed the commentary table spot with Ishii setting him up on the table and then ramming into the barricade with Dicto. I thought that was a lot of fun. And it kind of felt it was more sort of brawling LIJ Evil than Bullet Club bullshit Evil. That was until the closing stretch where, of course, you had all the shenanigans. And I'm just... why can't he beat Ishii clean? Ishii has put over like everyone on the roster at some point. Right. Yeah, he's Teflon. He's never hurt. He will eat the pinfall from anyone you like, and he'll be absolutely fine. So why couldn't Evil just have a clean win here? It's just one of those things where where Prince Devitt was such a great heel because he was a heel who cheated, but he didn't need to cheat. He could win clean, but he chose not to, and that's what pissed you off. But he had to remind the audience from time to time that he could win clean. And I just think that is one of the big things that's lacking with this Evil thing, because there's no nuance to it. I want to see, just to keep us honest, 1 or 2 matches, even if like 1 or 2 matches a year where he just gets a clean win, but they don't seem willing to do that. So it's all just sort of very black and white sort of caricature, and I think that is to the detriment of the Evil and his character and his whole big push here. Oh yeah, Tanahashi versus Kenta. My main thing here is Shibata. I mean, it was a good match. I enjoyed it a lot, but Shibata, he's getting involved again, getting physical. So, question from Dr. Gary says, do you guys think the Shibata appearance means anything in terms of an Evil? Or is it just nice to see him sometimes? Yeah, I would say no. I hope it does. I mean, all professional wrestling conventional wisdom states that, if you have someone getting physical, especially if it's a guy that everyone is clamoring for their in-ring return, that you wouldn't fuck about with people's emotions like that and tease him, getting into the ring and getting physical with people without being able to deliver it. But they've done it once before. Right. So I just don't think it means anything. So yeah, what did you think of these 2 matches?
They were good. I mean, again, Evil, if we're going back to the Evil scenario, it's just madness. The idea of him doing all of this, him and Dick Togo, and like, I feel like they have this belief that this is the only way to have Evil be booed, right? Like, that's the end result. We want it to be so clear that Evil is the heeliest of heels, that we're going to do this and beat you over the fucking head with it, right? But what I don't know if they fail to realize, or they just feel like there's no other avenue to make this happen, is that this is not like this kind of heel heat is just people just shoulder shrug. It's not like we're sitting at home booing. We're booing because I mean, nobody's booing for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's a frustration of this shit again. No,
there's no layers to it. There's no sort of escalation. He's not showing any variety. Whether it's a standard G1 match or a big main event, or a grudge match with someone he hates like Sanada or Naito. It's just the same sort of checklist of spots we're going through each time. And I think, that is the issue, the lack of sort of creative flexibility here to sort of change things up a bit to keep it interesting. It just feels very stale.
Yeah. It's like, we get it. I don't know. Like, is there anyone on planet Earth that's like, yep, this is the Evil that we want to see? And again, maybe that's the point. I don't know, but I don't have any interest in it, because you're right. It just seems so incredibly one-dimensional, and dare I say, so incredibly lazy. I think that's what we're booing. We're booing the fact that we have a guy that could be so much better than what we see. And you just become disheartened, and you don't want to see it. Like, I hate to use that stupid X-Pac heat thing, but it's almost the equivalent of that. I don't want to.
The shoe fits,
right, but it's like I don't want to see him on my TV. Like, I don't want to see this because A, it's the same thing every fucking match. There's nothing new, and B, it's just so incredibly unnecessary. Just like you said, it's fucking Tomohiro Ishii. You know what I mean? And that's not like he's a guy who's tough as nails, and he's got more guts than he has brains, and he's going to beat you, and not only beat you, but he's going to do everything in his power to go through you to beat you. We get it, okay? But again, in the pecking order of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the guys looked at the lights just about everybody on the roster. It's not a big deal. You don't have to do that. Give him a win. Who cares? Who fucking cares? But I will say this: when he did get that win, in your mind, did you think, "Oh no, they're going to evil"? Because that's exactly what.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Oh, I was like, "Oh my goodness gracious, here we go." And I don't think anybody went into this match thinking that Ishii was going to win. Maybe there were. But it was just like, you just felt it in your chest, like, oh boy, here we go. This is not going to be good. And our nightmares came true.
Speaking of nightmares, let's move on to Wrestle Grand Slam in Tokyo Dome, which opened up with the KOPW 2021 match, the New Japan Rambo with handcuffs. We had 22 entrants here, and in the end, it was Chase Owens who was the winner after 35 minutes and 36 seconds of intense action with a package driver over the holder, Toru Yano. So Chase Owens is the new KOPW 2021 holder. What did you think of the New Japan Rambo Day?
What were we doing? The best part to me, and you pointed it out to me via the text messages, was the bodies that were handcuffed at ringside, just standing there for 20 minutes, like a guy like
I know, like it's bad enough like, when you're an established part of the New Japan roster. Right. Think of legends, people who've been years and years in the company, being relegated to this pre-show Rambo. Right. Like, that's bad enough. Not being on the main card, you've not been given anything. Not only that, okay, you're put on this stupid match. You're not going to win. You've been told, no, you're going to be eliminated after 12 minutes or whatever by so-and-so. Oh, okay, fine. And then they say, and by the way, we're going to handcuff you to the guardrail, so you've got to stand around looking like a fucking idiot for the rest of the match.
Right.
Seeing, right. Legends like, guys like Nagata and Kojima and Makabe and Ishii just standing around like fucking geeks, hang up to the railings in this like mostly empty Tokyo Dome while fucking Yano and Chase Owens are doing their shenanigans in the ring. Like, they must have been thinking, has anyone got Tony Khan's number?
Oh man. Well, some of them were smart. Like if you got thrown outside the ring or whatever, like you didn't have to get handcuffed, right, to lose. You could be eliminated or whatever. Those were the smart ones. Like if I'm losing that match, throw me over the fucking top so I can go in the back and get a beer. Right? Though I'm not sitting there handcuffed at the fucking to a guardrail. Like Okan is fucking handcuffed with the guardrail. Honma was out there again, 20 minutes it felt like, sitting there handcuffed to the ring ropes. Now I was
actually we did Togi Makabe. Have you seen that sort of Simpsons gif with Grandpa Simpson walking into the burlesque house? He takes the hat, so he puts that on, and then turns around. That's Togi Makabe in these Rambos. He comes, clotheslines a few people. Tumbles awkwardly over the top rope. See you later, guys.
Yep, you got that right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not a bump to be had. Not a bump.
No,
to be
sir.
had.
No, sir.
All right, smart man. He had the Madonna Wayne level of battle royal efforts. I was always the first one out of a battle royal. Everyone. I would throw myself over the top rope. I would be like, I'm out of here, kids. Bye. Have fun. What was I going to say? I will say this. They did make it at least a little bit interesting. It had a little bit of something going on where they had Kenta handcuffed and they had Yoshihashi handcuffed. And they were breaking up pins.
I thought Kenta was going to win. When he came out quite late, I was like, oh, wow, they're going to put the KOPW on Kenta.
Yeah.
And, he's a creative guy. He's a fun guy. He'll be able to think of some really interesting stipulations. But nope. But
No.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, you were saying that when they had the him and Yoshihashi handcuffed at opposite ends.
Yeah. I mean, that was pretty. I mean, what else can we do to make this interesting? That was okay. That was good. But yeah.
What about Great Okan absolutely obliterating the junior division single-handedly?
That's cool. Well, listen.
There's just something about getting away to the Smoky Mountains. Step out on a hiking trail, zoom across a zip line, splash at water parks, shop till you drop, and say hello to the statue of our hometown hero, Dolly Parton. Discover the thrill of visiting the Smoky Mountains and reconnect with those you love the most in Sevierville, Tennessee. Learn more at visitsevierville.com. That's visit SEVIERVILLE.com.
If you've been a renter, you know it's stressful to find the perfect place. But Zillow Rentals make it easy. They have filters for pretty much everything, so you can find a rental that's big enough for entertaining your friends, but small enough they won't crash all weekend. Find your sweet spot on ZillowRentals.com.
Why not? He's been on the receiving end from as a young lion. He's taken more than his fair share of beating. So for him to go in there and obliterate some people too, is obliterate the word? Yeah. Whether it be juniors, whether it be young lions, whether it be whomever, him just clearing house is nice. I mean, look, nobody went into this. I don't know. How did you go? Like, what was your mindset? Were you just like, okay, who comes out? Like, that's the only thing that I give a shit about. Like, it's like, who comes out? But it's like, I didn't expect anybody special. Like, it was just like, oh, it's Tiger Mask. I think my favorite part of the fucking match is listening to Kevin Kelly and Chris Charlton trying to sell me on nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, let's see how they did. There were parts where they were just like, all right, they were just talking amongst themselves. They were doing a podcast. It felt like
Kevin Kelly fighting off a swarm of wasps.
He lives on that big farm in Pennsylvania. You ever see that? He's got
that was more interesting than the match. Kevin Kelly sort of piling up bodies of wasps next to it. I'll tell you, I think we should talk about Chase Owens here because
all right.
he's won this thing,
okay.
And Big Dave is reporting that Chase will be in this year's G1 Climax, which is something that is hard to assess.
Why?
If you're just going strictly speaking, in terms of the quality of his wrestling, does he deserve to be there? You can't really judge that in a vacuum without seeing the other 19 guys. So I will reserve judgment. I mean, if he's replacing Utro, who the fuck cares?
He's eating pins.
He's right, and he, if he's just the Yano equivalent of the other block, then whatever, I don't care. People, he's a loyalty guy, isn't he, Chase Owens? And from what I hear, he is someone who, times in the past, has dropped whatever he's doing to help out New Japan. Whether it's a Best of the Super Juniors, one of the Jacksons is injured, can you come and fill him Best of the Super Juniors in 2 days? Yeah, no problem, I'll be there. So he is a guy who's getting these bones thrown to him for helping out the company when they're in tight spots, right?
One, and two, he's been, at this. Let's pump the brakes here. He's in G1, if he is in G1, if it's 100%, to eat pins. Right? Again, we don't have the luxury of being able to bring in everyone that we normally would for a G1. Who's eating pins? You want Yujiro in there to do that? You want a young lion in there to do that? You want somebody that you, dare I say, care about to do that? Again, Chase is absolutely loyal to the company. and again, air quotes, push is, there's always been a start and a stop to it. It felt like, there's been times where it's been had a little bit more momentum than others. But again, let's be very clear here. Chase Owens is in G1 to eat pins because the normal people that they would probably bring into a G1 aren't here to eat those pins. And here's the thing too. You need those people. It's a role to play in getting from point A to point B. They need people to do that. He's a guy that can do that. And a heel to boot. Well, away we go.
So that was our pre-show match. The first match on the main card itself was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match with the champions El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori successfully defending against Mega Coaches Rocky and Taguchi. ELP pinned Taguchi after 20 minutes 56 seconds with a CR2. I thought this was perfect. No, not a perfect wrestling match, but perfect for the spot it was given. It's actually the most I've enjoyed a junior tag match, I think, since the Bucks versus Roppongi 3K feud. It was the right length. There were plenty of dangerous spots. There were, baby faces you can get behind and cheer. Heels who didn't overdo the heelish stuff. I'm into the loaded boot story because everyone sold it so well, including ELP himself, when he did that moonsault and was selling the injured foot afterwards. I genuinely thought, with all the stuff in the pro backstage interviews, I thought we'd get the payoff for this. And it leading up to that moment where Taichi took off ELP's boot and looked in it and pulled that shot face, and then the dick punch, because that was just a brilliant fuck you moment. Like, great misdirection, because we haven't seen that dick punch since ELP started the loaded boot gimmick. Right. I just thought everyone sold it tremendously there. And it was nice to have a junior tag match without Roppongi 3K or Kanemaru and Desperado in there, as much as I like those two teams. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. And we found out afterwards, Taguchi tweeted and said that what he saw on the inside of ELP's boot was fucking Taguchi written there. And that's why he was so horrified. So the loaded boot story continues.
Look, it's good. They play it off well. Remember just a few moments ago, just talking about Evil and how it's just, there's no layers and no shades of gray. It's completely black and white. And this is fun. This is this is how you do it. Right? There are layers, and there are, and again, we're not talking about, this is not like a fucking Stephen King novel, but this very easily could be just a cut and dry. He uses this as a weapon, and that's it. But even during the match, it was, and it kind of made sense where Taguchi's like, all right, I'm getting this boot off, and that played into it, and even, and you're right, the way that ELP was selling it after the big moonsault spot, I thought it was really well done. I thought it was. I don't know if it was my favorite junior tag match I've seen since the matches you talked about.
All right, let me put you on the spot then. Name a better one.
Kanemaru and Despy had a lot of good ones, right? Against Roppongi 3K. The problem is that you've seen it 1,000 times.
20 of them.
Right. That's the problem. But seriously, you go back, and again, I'm not going to be able to sit here and give you a date of the best one. But if I guarantee you, if I took the best one of those matches and put it against this, I think it would be right up there, right? Right?
Well, we'll be getting another one next month, so we can judge it again. So
that is for sure. I'll tell you, you are right though. When I don't even know how it came across my TV. I was watching Kyle O'Reilly. Remember that guy? Bobby Fish. That was fun. Those tag teams were fun. I don't even know who the fuck they were wrestling, Joel, but I miss them.
They're always great. Their stuff in New Japan, their stuff in NXT, just a tremendous tag team. Like one of my favorites ever.
Yeah, me too. They might be my top 10 favorite tag teams ever. They really might be.
All right, let's move on to the second match, which was the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match with Robbie Eagles picking up a huge win here, biggest win of his career, defeating El Desperado 19 minutes 56 seconds with a Ron Miller special to become the new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. I like this one a lot. It was very different to the match that preceded it. Often we're conditioned to seeing Junior Heavyweight title on the line and thinking, yeah, there's going to be sort of crazy high flying, but that wasn't the case because given the match that preceded it, which had a lot of high-flying action, this was a more sort of grounded, mat-based, submission-based, working over body parts. I thought Robbie Eagles' selling was excellent.
Yep.
When I see a guy start to sell a body part, my hackles are raised and I get out my magnifying glass. I'm watching that body part intensely for the rest of the match. To see, does it? Are they going to blow it off? Which most of the time they do, or is it going to pay off? And it did here. So I thought, tremendous legwork for both guys, and just a really tremendous match. Tour de force for Robbie Eagles, one of his best performances I can remember, and thoroughly deserved. I'm really happy. Just you could see how much it meant to him afterwards. I'm really excited to see what the future holds in this division.
Yeah, here's a guy that, if you're listening to Kevin Kelly, this guy it was touch and go, even if he was going to be able to get in the country. Australia is going through it right now, again. And, obviously Japan is. Him getting in the country was not even a definite thing. And again, a guy that I don't want to say was on the shelf. I'm sure he was working out and doing all he could do while he was back home. But, he hadn't been in a New Japan ring in quite a while. This tour aside. He looked good. He looked fresh. He looked like he wanted to prove something. Like that was a match that could have easily been one of those. And we love them. That's why we love the juniors so. But that could have been a best of the Super Juniors type of match. And they decided to go a different route. And I really praised him for that. He was outstanding, Robbie Eagles. And, let's tip our cap to El Desperado, too. Outstanding job by him. I was shocked. I did not see that one coming. Trust me. We sat here in our prediction show and we're like, okay, all roads lead to Hiromu, blah, blah, blah. And Despy. I'm pretty excited for Robbie Eagles Hiromu. That's something I did not expect we would be saying, number one. But the fact that we are saying it, Joe, I'm pumped. I'm pumped up. I don't want to say things are well-deserved. I hate when people say, oh, he deserves to get that. He don't deserve shit. But, man, it felt like he deserved that one. Like that one was and a little bit unexpected. Truth be told, I would not if you put a gun to my head and said Robbie Eagles, IWGP Heavyweight Champion or Junior Heavyweight Champion. I don't know. I would be like, okay, I don't have a problem with it, but I just don't see it happening. They pulled the trigger. They did good. Like it.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing that match at the upcoming show on September 5th in the MetLife Dome, Eagles versus Hiromu. I suspect Hiromu wins the title, and I would love to see Despy win Best of the Super Juniors because I really want to see that Despy Hiromu match at the Dome. But we'll wait and see. Plenty of possibilities there and a bit of excitement and uncertainty injected into the junior division, which it definitely needed. As much as I loved Despy as champion, I thought he was a very, very good champion. But now with Robbie Eagles holding the belt, then anything can happen. So moving on to the third match, a special singles match with Kazuchika Okada defeating Jeff Cobb in 19 minutes 23 seconds with his cradle pinfall. This was a very good match, not a great match.
I really liked it. Really?
Well, I think they have a better match in them. And Harley Duncan, a Voices of Wrestling contributor, tells me he's watching the show live now. They've got some Road 2 show going on at the moment, and he's suggesting that a Cobb Okada rematch might be happening. It appears they're still feuding with each other. So we may be seeing a rematch at some point. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed this one, Damon. I thought Okada gave a lot to Cobb. He was bumping like crazy, made Cobb look great. And just the way that the match finished as well, that kind of sort of fluke cradle pinfall that Okada busts out from time to time helped protect Jeff Cobb. It wasn't him eating a Rainmaker 1, 2, 3. It was like, he just got caught out.
Yep.
So I think those are two things to pay attention to here, that the company, even though the results are not going his way, you pay attention to those little clues and you see that the company is very keen on Jeff Cobb.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that match, it felt like, was a dominant performance from Jeff Cobb. And the fact that, again, I hate to use the term flash pinfall, but right, he lost his concentration or whatever the case it is for 3 seconds, right? Okay, and it's Okada, and if he gets that opening, boom, it could cause trouble at any time. Jeff Cobb looks like a fucking just awesome. Like, Jeff Cobb is right now finding his fucking groove. I hope they have another match. You might be right that they do, and that this match. I don't. Do you feel like they held back on this match? Because I don't.
No, not that they held back. I just think they have a better match in them. A bit more detail. Brandon G from Voices of Wrestling says, after the 6-man match today, Cobb ambushed Okada as he was heading to the back.
There you go.
Yeah, I think they will be having a rematch, and I think it will be even better than this one.
Okay, I'm down. Listen, I'm into seeing it again. That's for fucking sure. If they got another one in them, more please. And
I think that's two singles matches in a row where Okada's caught out Cobb with this cradle. I think the same thing happened in the G1. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on if they do have a rubber match.
Good point. I tell you what. All right. Let's do this. Jeff Cobb's in G1. How deep is Jeff Cobb going? I'll throw this one by you. Jeff Cobb, Final Four?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
me too.
I think you could put him in a final. Why not?
You want to go that far?
Goto in a final. Goto was in the final in what, 2016? I want to say.
Right.
We had Sanada in the final last year. If Sanada can be in the final, why the fuck can't Jeff Cobb be in the final?
I tell you what, wouldn't that be something nice? I think Jeff Cobb is just, and it's not just a push that's doing it. Like, he's found something. Isn't it amazing when a wrestler who's been around for a while finds it, and you see it happening in front of your eyes? Like, that's I get. He's like, you know how you're gushing over Tai Chi? Like, I'm starting to gush over Jeff Cobb a little bit. I'm starting to gush. Like, he just wrestles really in a style that I really, really like. And again, the knock on him before was he needed a guy in the ring to, make him look good. I think he's doing a pretty good job by himself. I think he can handle himself by himself. And when you get in the ring with guys that are just top performers, I don't know, just those positive things just really start to pop. So, yeah, I could see him Final Four. That'd be awesome. I mean, I don't know if I'm predicting it right now, but let's see some brackets first. But yeah, Jeff Cobb Final Four. Why not?
Fourth match was the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship rematch with Dangerous Tekkers as the challengers, winning back their titles from Sanada and Naito. So Zack got the pin over Naito after 37 minutes, 58 seconds with the European clutch. You go first, Damon. What did you think about it?
Okay, I know everybody is complaining about how long that these matches are going, right? Okay. And to a certain degree, I agree. I had no problem with this particular match going as long as it did. In fact, I loved it. I love the fact that it went over 30. Give me a tag match that here's the thing. It went long. In your opinion, Joel, were you bored at any time? Were you doing the phone? Were you looking at the lights? Were you rubbing your dick? Had any?
I wasn't bored. I was anxious because for me to watch a show like this live is a big time commitment given my family circumstances. So as this was going on, and Mally's asking me to do stuff. Oh, can you go and get that barrel of water? Can you do this? And I'm like, oh, can you just wait till this show's finished? There's only 2 matches left. And the clock is going on and on, and she's side-eyeing me, and I'm sweating. I'm like, come on, boys, bring it home. I said, Joe, Voice of Wrestling, Joe Lanza tweeted like, oh, I'm going to bed. I can't, I'm not staying up for 40 minutes of this. And I said on the Voice of Wrestling, it's like, oh, God, Joe, this isn't going to 40 minutes. They're going to be in and out of there, tight 20-minute banger. And then after the 5 minutes, I was like, oh shit, I'm so wrong about this. So, I was expecting something different. I mean, I liked it. I like these 4 guys, but having my wife giving me evils throughout this and the main event, maybe a touch of it is oversaturation with watching these 4 guys wrestle. Because if you watched the singles matches as well, you would have been watching these 4 guys wrestling each other for hours, more than 2 hours, right? So, maybe that was a part of it as well. But you've got to say credit for the fact that they've made the heavyweight tag titles feel important now.
Yeah.
Right? That is something worth celebrating.
Yeah, I'm in the boat of look, first of all, there's no way I'm waking up live for any of it. Right? It's just not happening. I can wake up and pop it right on and stay off my phone, phone's nowhere to be found. Watch the fucking show. And that's exactly what I did. And it was live to me. And 30-something minutes, I loved it. I thought it was great. There were plenty of times where I thought that's another thing. There were plenty of times within that 30-minute stretch that I thought it could be over, right? I wasn't bored at any point. It was long. Yes, it was. Yes, that's fine. Now, do we want to do this every fucking show? No. But for this match, I did not have a problem with it. It never felt lost. It never felt like it lost its groove. To me, it felt like it built to a nice little finish. No, I had no problem with it. None whatsoever.
Yeah, and plenty of little callbacks as well to what happened in the singles matches, like the titty bounce off, and they teased another double pin with Zack and Sonata. So if you've been paying attention and watched those matches, there was a little bit extra in it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the main event then, 5th match, IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Shingo Takagi successfully defending against Hiroshi Tanahashi, 37 minutes, 26 seconds with Last of the Dragon. So, yeah, Damon, your thoughts on the main event, please?
Fucking loved it. Absolutely fucking loved it. And to me, it was special because, again, being a big Hiroshi Tanahashi fan that I am, you feel like these Tokyo Dome main events are going to be few and far between at this point moving forward in his career. And for him, and I know a lot has been made of him getting the call, a lot of pressure being put on him to deliver just days before, was special. And I feel like that main event, in front of how many ever people, 5,000 people that were in that building, it was the building, and it was the event, and it was maybe even the challenge of doing it again at a big time level, on a show where you knew New Japan counted on him to be that guy. Now, as a side note, I think it's kind of weird that, and weird might not even be the best word, but the way that this whole Kota Ibushi situation has been handled is like, you knew the guy was sick. And you knew the guy.
Sorry, can I jump in with a question?
Please,
because this might illuminate something. So, Vase Collector says, what do you make of this aspiration pneumonia scenario with Ibushi? It's not a super well-known diagnosis. However, I can tell you secondhand that it's no laughing matter.
Right.
To be honest, I feel comfortably labeling this as labor exploitation. I'm completely put off that Ibushi isn't simply getting the months really needed to recover from something like this. Like Ospreay, Kota needs to protect himself, but culturally, I worry it's just not as easy. Most will skip over this, but from health and labor rights point of view, I find it so disappointing.
Okay, again, I mean, I'm thinking of it from a dopey pro wrestling perspective, but I think we're in the same train of thought here. Like, they knew if this were the case, this diagnosis, right, that there was, even if he recovered, he physically was not going to be able to get into a ring and perform at a high level. I mean, that shit'll knock you on your ass. And you need a little bit of time to recover, even after the fact you're recovered. So New Japan knew this for a while now. And I kind of felt like I was being stringed along, knowing full well that Kota Ibushi wasn't going to be there. And again, every indicator and every word that we got, and again, it wasn't from a physician from New Japan. It wasn't like we were on the phone with fucking doctors. But, nobody seemed too concerned. Let's put it that way. Everybody felt like this was going to happen. But my point is that somebody knew. Somebody knew that there was no fucking chance in hell that this was going to happen. And it felt like we were strung along to the very end. That being said, here comes Hiroshi Tanahashi, a guy who, let's be honest, if we believe everything we read and everything we hear, is a guy that saved New Japan Pro Wrestling. Right? Is a guy that was the guy that held up the company for many years. And then as New Japan grew and grew and grew, it was on the back of Hiroshi Tanahashi. And now that he's, dare I say, in the twilight of his career, for him to go out there, and again, all those things that could be looked at as a negative. Not a full house. It's not the same Tokyo Dome. Didn't matter. It was the Tokyo Dome. It was his building. And he was not going to disappoint. And what this did to me was solidify the fact that he is, hands down, it's going to be hard for someone to argue this point off of me. He's the greatest pro wrestler of my lifetime. There really isn't anyone else who could do what he does at the level that he does, as smartly as he does, than him.
The fact that he made us all bite on that near fall with the Kanagoe and the high fly flow. And we, this is a last minute replacement. Yeah. Everyone knew that Shingo's winning, but at that moment you thought,
yes. Holy shit. He's done it. Yeah, he's done it. Joel, I think those words came out of my mouth. He's done it. When he hit that Kamagoya, which, how about that? Like, just to have that spot in your head to be like, all right, we're going to do that. And then climbing those ropes. Joel, my mouth, the words, oh my God, he's going to do it, came out because I truly believe that he was. He is a master. There are great pro wrestlers. There are pro wrestlers who will go down as some of the greatest of all time. He is a master. And I'm telling you right now, there are pro wrestlers who might have had better years. There are pro wrestlers who might have had a better match. There are pro wrestlers that none touch the body of work of Hiroshi Tanahashi in a big spot. He might be the best big spot pro wrestler of all time. I you know what I mean? Like he recognizes the moment. And I don't know how he does it physically. I don't know what state of mind he has to put himself into. I don't know what help he has when it comes to medication or whatever he needs to get through that curtain. But when he gets through that fucking curtain, Joel, I'm telling you flat out, there is no one that can touch him in a big spot. He is the greatest wrestler of my generation. No doubt about it.
So, all in all, I thought it was a terrific show. top to bottom, excluding the Rambo, but that doesn't count. But yeah, really, really great show here. Matthew says, do either of you in any way feel the show had a problem with match length? I saw Joel love the junior tag match, and while it was fast and impressive, to be honest, I thought it was too much as I zoned out. A few matches were like that for me. I seem to feel like this more and more. I'm wondering if these longer fighting spirit, strong style matches are just burning me out. Kudos to those who love them, as it's all preference, but I do wish everyone wouldn't go all out in every match. Strong, on the other hand, is much easier to digest. I think sort of match length is one of these things that is not inherently good or bad in and of itself.
Correct.
It's does the match justify it, or are you just filling time? And a lot of these shows where they've spread everything really thin and they've put stuff as a main event, which in a normal year wouldn't be a main event, and they're stretching it out to be 30 minutes plus just because it's a main event and they feel that that's how long it should be to send the fans home happy, then you can see the seams there. And then that's where I've got a problem with it. I don't think anything on this show was egregiously long. I think the tag title match justified its length, personally. And, main event, 37 odd minutes of main event at Tokyo Dome, fine. No problems with that. So I don't think it was a problem with this show. I mean, I had problems with it just because of my family circumstances, but that wasn't a fault of the way the show was structured and put tonight.
Ghetto's calling, Joel. What's the home situation like? We're thinking about going long. No, mate.
Take it home, boys. It's just crying.
Right. Again, if we're talking about ELP Rocky Romero, okay, you know what I mean. Like, there's no reason to go 30. Even Zach and the double pin thing, and that felt like it went. The tag match itself. Okay, you can argue. It didn't bother me one iota. And this match, no, certainly not. I mean, that can go 30-something minutes, no problem whatsoever. Let me ask you, what didn't really hear about the match itself. Where would you put this match in Hiroshi Tanahashi's catalog of Tokyo Dome main events?
I really liked it. I thought it was a really good match, but it was sort of emblematic of this feeling we're getting about New Japan in 2021, that it's great matches in a vacuum, right? And, that was by circumstances here. They didn't have time to build up and there wasn't much story going into it, but it's the kind of match that I watch and think, wow, that was really good, but then I'll forget about it pretty quickly. So I think he's had more memorable and emotional matches at the Tokyo Dome. I mean, for me, it's better than the Jay White match he had at Wrestle Kingdom 12. Not as good as the Kenny match at 13. I really enjoyed the Jericho match, actually, at Wrestle Kingdom 14. What was he doing? What did he do at Wrestle Kingdom 15? Who was he wrestling this year?
The one that just passed?
Yeah.
He did Okan.
Oh, yeah, of course. It was better than that. I would say comfortably in the top 10, right. Maybe sort of knocking at the door of top 5.
Right. The problem that I had, again, and it's not a problem. Can I ask you this? I know we're anti-snowflake stars, blah, 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 blah. Can I ask for a star?
I'll give you 4 and a third.
4 and a third.
It was a bit better than 4 and a quarter.
I saw a lot of people throwing around 5s,
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I mean, you feel how you feel, but I just if they'd been able to build up to it properly, which wasn't their fault, and if it had been in a full Tokyo Dome, which again, not their fault, then I might have gone higher on it. But those things are important to me.
They are, and they help. The problem was, and again, you had to make your own magic in there, right? You didn't have the benefit of a crowd going nuts. You didn't have the benefit of a packed house losing their mind.
I had a packed house and a wife going nuts, so that certainly added some drama to it.
Sure, right, okay. What it reminded me a lot of, truth be told, and not just because the crowds look eerily similar, it did remind me of Dallas against Okada. It did remind me of that a lot. I was watching that the other day, and I still marveled that Dallas crowd was one of the best pro wrestling crowds I've ever been around. The fact that they for like 3 or 4 minutes, everybody was on their feet, just being like, okay, we recognize what we're seeing here. Thanks. This is awesome. That was a pretty good moment. But anyway, yep. I'm not giving it 5. But I will say this. I'm at least 4.5. I'm at least 4.5. I thought it was really great. So, yep, great show. I thought the show was great. And here's the thing: on paper, Joel, I think we kind of knew it was right. We found it hard to believe that this show was going to shit the bed.
Yeah, they don't miss with these, do they?
No.
Even, backs to the wall, they can deliver a great show. And yeah, great moment for Shingo Takagi, who's someone who I didn't think we would ever see him winning a main event at the Tokyo Dome. This is not quite a Wrestle Kingdom, but who knows what the future holds. But still, even in spite of that big feather in his cap, I have a treat for you, Dave. We've got a question from Antonio, who wants to pick our brains about the events that took place after the main event, where Evil attacked Shingo Takagi.
Right.
So Antonio says, and I quote, "Saw Wrestle Grand Slam, very good show, expect Evil part. But speaking of, saw lots of complaint about, which I agree, tough. Which my question, a continuation of other question, which is asked H Guys Beth, who currently has more say in the NJPW booking, is Gedo or Dick Togo? That's my question." So
I love that he follows up with "That's my question." I know that's your question.
That's his question.
That's a great question. That's the question. Just leave it at that. It's like when your dad texts you, or something like that. This is your dad. I know I know who this is. It's on my phone. And I love Antonio. What do you think of Antonio? You love it?
Every time I see a question in the Twitter thread, I get excited.
Me too.
It's always a good one, and it's always fun.
You know what, Antonio? You might be our favorite listener. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Huh? I want you to go to your friend. I want you to turn. As you're listening right now, if you're in your room, if you're in the car, wherever you are, I want you to turn to the person right next to you, and I want you to point at your listening device, and I want you to say, "I'm the number one fan. I'm the number one listener of the Super J-Cast." And you can wear that proudly wherever you go, right?
Make a little badge.
Yeah.
We'll sign off on it.
Get a t-shirt and wear that to the bar or the club. And the ladies, Antonio, you're going to get laid. Antonio, can you send us, I want to know what Antonio's life's like, is what I want to know. I'm curious about Antonio.
Should we get him on the show? Now that we've got Zeg.
Now we got the Zeg. Yeah, we can pop him right on. Get 5 minutes with Antonio. That could be a new segment, 5 minutes with Antonio. That'd be great. I could take a nap.
Welcome to That's My Question.
Right. That's my question. That's a great segment. That's my question. That's how I'm going to do everything at work now. I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this design on blah, 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 blah? That's my question. They're going to be what?
And it renders the question mark obsolete, doesn't it? It really does. Really shaking up the world of punctuation here.
Oh, this is fantastic. I love them. And again, we're saying this in with all the love in our hearts, which is not much, but that's what we're saying it as. So please take it in good spirit, everyone. I don't want to hear, hey, why are you picking on them? We're not picking on them. We love them. Our next meetup, we're flying him in. By the way, we're never having a meetup again. My wife's here. Hey. All right. Have a good day at work. We're talking about Antonio. Any? Would you like to say hello to Antonio? Come on over. Come on, please. She's coming over. She's going to say hello. We have a listener.
Yeah, we need a special message.
We need a special message for Antonio. Or Anto, if you will. You want to go to the Anto, old school Anto? No? Okay. All right. Please, into the microphone, please.
Have a wonderful day.
Who?
Antonio.
Have a wonderful day, Antonio. I don't know if you heard that. What?
And that is her comment.
That is her comment. All right. Where were we? What were we talking about?
Booking. Yeah, it's a committee. I mean, there's a lot of voices in the room if the rumors are to be believed, Dick Togo is a new voice at that table. A lot of people want to point the finger at him for the parts of New Japan that they don't like. But, those things have always been there. I'm not excusing them or saying that they're good, but I think it would be misleading to say, cheating heels only started when Dick Togo entered the room.
Right. I mean, again, he's a voice, as you described, he's a voice in the room. But to be very clear, this is still Ghetto's ball game. Like he's still everything will pass through him, and there might be there might be things where he's just like, oh, look, you take care of this segment. I got bigger fish to fry. But that being said, I mean, make no mistake. He's still the guy, and everyone reports to him, and that's it.
All right, we've got a big show coming up August the 1st at Korakuen Hall. We have a Yuya Uemura send-off match versus Kazuchika Okada. Yota Tsuji send-off match versus Tetsuya Naito. He finally got his Naito match. Good for him.
Yep.
And we also have the Never Six-Man titles on the line with Ishii, Yoshihashi, and Goto defending against, check out this team, Damon, Minoru Suzuki, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi. I cannot wait for that one. I think that is a team that is worthy of dethroning these excellent Chaos champions. And I will be a little bit sad for them when it happens, but I think there's a good chance of it happening here.
Wow.
And they would be worthy challengers. So really excited about that Never Six-Man match. And Louis says, any idea where Tsuji and Uemura might land for their excursions? My bet is one of them ends up at the LA Dojo as well with Narita. So yeah, I could see maybe Yuya Uemura ending up at the LA Dojo. Yota Tsuji, I know he had his heart set in Mexico, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the UK Rev Pro will be a good landing spot for him.
Yep.
So yeah, that's quite a tasty show, August 1st.
It is. How about this one, though? So if they do swap out those Never Six-Man titles, which, again, are always a highlight at this point, we would have double champions, correct?
That is correct, yes. But I don't think that would be a problem because I don't think there have been many shows in recent history where both of those titles have been defended on the same show.
Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong as well. At the end of the tag team championship match in which the Tekkers regained the title, we saw Yoshihashi and Goto in the ring with a little challenge. I saw some pointing fingers back and forth and all that stuff, right? And we're probably going to have a three-way dance-a-row, right?
We have. I'm going to come on to that because we have some match announcements for Wrestle Grand Slam.
Okay. My point being is this, Joel, is that what if six-man titles, Chaos successfully defends, beats Suzuki to kind of strengthen the challenge, so to speak, for the tag team champions, right? So they beat them in a six-man. Now it's, okay, well, now we really deserve our shot, so away we go. So that's the way I'm going to go. That's the route I'm going.
I'm saying Suzuki can win, and Yoshihashi absolutely loses it. He's heartbroken that they took away the title that meant everything to him. And he just like fucking caves their heads in with his staff. There's blood everywhere. And he's like, you took my title. I'm going to fucking take yours. Wrestle Grand Slam at the MetLife Dome. I'm coming for your heavyweight tag titles. I'm going to take them away from you. You fucking cunts.
Hey, come on. Language. Kevin Kelly.
Can you not imagine Yoshihashi cutting that promo?
So great. Yeah. Oh, that'd be something, wouldn't it? Yeah, he goes berserk. That's what he needs.
It's like East End Cockney gangster. I'm going to find you where you live. I'm going to break your fucking legs.
He's wearing track pants, I'm gathering. Adidas track pants. All right. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Right, more news here. So starting August 7th and going until August 17th at Korakuen Hall, we have a Super Junior Tag League. And here are the teams that will be taking part. We've got Tiger Mask and Robbie Eagles, Dick Togo and Gedo, Master Wato and Ryusuke Taguchi, Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado, Roppongi 3K Shonyo, El Phantasmo and Taiji Shimura.
About to say, what's Bobby Fish doing? Is Bobby Fish available? Kyle O'Reilly?
Can the Dark Order cut some weight? Is it too short notice?
Do me a favor. Just because I'm a glutton for punishment. One more time. Read off those stellar junior tag teams participating in this tournament.
So we've got Tiger Mask and Robbie.
Okay.
Togo and Gedo.
Oh.
Wato and Taguchi.
Oh.
Kanemaru Desperado, Roppongi 3K, Phantasmo Ishimori.
Must-watch TV, huh? Oof-wee. Who's winning this?
It won't be Phantasmo and Ishimori because they are the title holders. So
It won't be
conventional
Eagles and Tiger Mask, right?
No, I don't think, because obviously Robbie's busy in singles action.
Yep.
So
Gato and Togo out.
Just
Roppongi 3K. Just say it.
what to do? And those teams will face each other until the rocks melt and the seas burn. This is one of those inevitabilities. Is Roppongi 3K winning?
Yep.
Super Junior Tag League.
Here you go.
I can't even remember who won it last year, Damon. It's just, I like these guys. I'm sure the matches will be good. I'll enjoy them. I'll watch them, but it's incredibly stale. They desperately need a bit of freshness, new blood injected into that division.
Sure do. Look at that. Like, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. What are you going to do? If you can't bring people in, who are you going to bring in?
Yeah. Mark says it's never been a marquee tournament. This seems a particularly weak year. What's your excitement level for it? Mine's a 4 out of 10. So will you go higher than a 4 out of 10?
Nope. No.
Yeah, I would say I'm also about a 4.
Oh, I'm not even 4. I'm 4. Christ. I'm at like 2, maybe. I don't give a single shit. I don't give a single shit about it. Nothing. I mean, seriously, what are you excited for?
No, there's nothing to be excited about. I'm sure there'll be some decent main events, but unfortunately, we've seen these teams, the good teams in this tournament, wrestle each other about a million times. So, hard to get excited about that. So, I'm saying let's move on and talk about September 5th, Wrestle Grand Slam in MetLife Dome. We have nothing announced yet for night 1. So, night 2, September the 5th, we have Robbie Eagles versus Hiromu for the junior title. We have Dangerous Tekkers versus Sanada and Naito versus Yoshihashi and Goto for the heavyweight tags. And we have Shingo Takagi defending his IWGP World Heavyweight title against Evil. Oh. So Ben says, are you excited for Evil? Daryl says, can we please retire Evil and Sanada from the big belt challenges? Yeah. Neither has ever been particularly captivating, yet they keep getting the tap on the shoulder over and over again. Am I the only one that feels this way? In my opinion, this is a great spot for someone fresh like Cobb or Taichi. And Maikon says, is Evil in the old Taichi spot? Cheap heat and bad matches. If he is, how much time do you guys think he will be presented like this? So, it's not something I'm excited about.
Can we do this?
Because
I'm sorry, I hate cutting you off. I feel bad when I do it, but Can we make a new rule that anyone who asks a question, they have to end it with, and that is my question? Can we do that? I just want to make sure have this thing continue, please.
And a challenge to get it within the Twitter character limit. You have to put that in. We're not reading it.
Has to be in there. Yeah, okay. Joel, you look. First of all, I just get it. I know you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Tokyo reports 2,848 new coronavirus cases, more than double from last week, and the biggest one-day increase on record. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. 2, there's a Winter Olympics. There's a Summer Olympics going on in the city of Tokyo. Again, something else that you don't care about. But there are no fans in any of the events, right? How does New Japan skirt this with having people in the building? Can you first help me with that? And 2,
I don't. Sorry, I think that particular area of Japan is not under state of emergency.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, listen, I'm just reporting some numbers. Seems to not be doing well. And then, lastly, my question is, we're doing 2 nights in this fucking building. We have enough going on that we could do 2 nights. Like, I don't know, something, I don't know. 2 nights, Joel, in this fucking building. What are you feeling about that? That is my question.
Being in a dome doesn't mean anything anymore.
No. It doesn't. Okay. But 2 nights? Like, somebody had to say, okay, let's do 2 nights. And nobody said, that's dumb. Why would we do that? And no one said that. We're doing 2 nights. There's no reason to do 2 nights, Joe. Give me the reason why we're going to do 2 nights.
To try and get some money for...
What money? They're not going to be able to have anybody in these fucking buildings.
No, I think they will though, because
coronavirus, Joel.
I could be wrong, but
Listen, everyone's going to, everybody. Sad. I'm so sad over it.
I think that's a great spot to end the podcast, Damon.
I know. I feel like I just grinded this fucking show to a halt. Holy fuck. Boy, oh, I stink. I'm just saying. It just seems like it's I don't know, 2 nights. It's not like they had 2 nights booked for years and they're like, well, it just seems dumb. All right, but anyway, we're all excited. No one's excited. Are you excited for Evil?
No. I mean, I understand the reason he and Sanada keep getting these opportunities. Evil's a New Japan dojo guy, so there's that. They're both relatively young. They're reliable. They sell merch, I guess. They're relatively safe.
Okay.
You give them a tap on the shoulder, plug them in now and then for the odd challenge. I have no interest in either of them as title challengers. But
didn't I see from a kayfabe perspective, Joel? Someone.
Yes, this is there's absolutely no reason for Evil to be getting this shot, is there?
Yeah, like he's is like 17th. He would be like the 17th ranked wrestler.
Yeah. Chris Samsa posted that, didn't he?
Crazy, right? Evil, of all people. He would be, again, if we're looking at wins and losses and all that shit, he would be like there's 17 other people that would be a worthier challenger, number one contender than Evil. Again, if we're just looking at it from a pure kayfabe perspective. Don't ask me. I don't know. And from an interest level point of view, Joel, I can name 17 other people that I would be more interested in saying. All right.
And not only that, Damon, but he is using he used a transphobic slur. So
I did see
get
that.
him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not good. Shouldn't be doing that.
No, I mean, come on, choose your words wiser. You know what I mean? Come on, stop it with that. Has the Twitterverse pounced?
No, I think the consensus seems to be that was a stupid thing to say. Yeah. I hope he doesn't do it again, rather than this guy should be fired.
All right. Listen, here you go. All right, look, lots going on in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. A lot going on in our lives. This is our last. No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to put that one. This will be the last.
After we signed up for Zencaster.
Yeah, it's
cruel.
I know. No, I just bought this mic. We got to do it. I got to at least get a return on my investment here on this new mic. So you have that. So hold off on that baby, will you please? My God, I don't know how you're going to do it, but you'll figure it out, right? Right? Huh?
Okay. Here's an idea. Hopefully by then I will be back at work properly, and I can just stay late and be like, "Oh, I've got a meeting."
That's the point. That's a good point. That's what you do. You know what? She's been very quiet. Everybody's been very quiet. There hasn't been really a distraction.
She is listening to her nursery rhymes.
There it is.
That's her favourite thing. I can hear it as it. Two fat gentlemen met in a lane. Like it's playing now.
How do you do? That's so great.
She's got a few new words. Instead of saying, instead of pacify, we say dummy. So instead of saying dummy, she says nanny.
Okay.
And instead of saying nappy or diaper, as you would say in the US, she says pappy, which I find a bit insulting, but we're working on that one.
Insulting, but appropriate.
Yes, because I'm also full of shit.
Oh.
And on that note...
Wrap it up, Joe. Wrap it up.
Strong. New Japan Strong. Wow. We had... It was fine. The show was fine. It was just perfectly good TV wrestling. But we have our finalists for the Tag Team Turbulence.
And I guess Good Brothers against what? Dickinson and
King. Yeah. Who do you think is going to win? Let's have your quick prediction for the finals.
I hope it's Dickinson and King. I would do anything to have it.
Yeah, I'm going to be rooting for them for sure.
But it would mean more if they did win. It really would, but I don't know the politics. Do you think there's any politics in this? Do you think we're at a level where ROH and Impact would squabble over who's winning and who's losing in this. I hope not. I hope we're not at that point. But unfortunately, I think Good Brothers do win.
All right, so that's something to look forward to coming up this Friday. Leo Rush is going to be the new challenger for Tom Lawler's strong.
Isn't he retired?
It was interesting, actually. That maybe this was one of the things that was in the can already. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, Leo Rush versus Tom Lawler should be good. The Kojima match was fine. Just like a sort of 3-star TV match. Special. It was perfectly okay. Okay, well, I'm going to get out of here because it's time to do the plugs. redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast. Who'd like to throw some money to help pay this Zencaster bill and for Damon's new microphone. All that money would be very much appreciated. Discord link is in the show notes. Unless, right, for one particular person, you're not welcome in the Discord. Whatever you gimmick identity you come up. Wow. We don't want you there, and we will find out if you are trying to pull the wool over our eyes.
What do we get? We get some nonsense in Discord, huh?
I told you about it last night, Damon.
You did. You know what? That's right. That one guy. Yeah. All right. Listen.
No, two guys. Quote unquote, two guys.
Right.
Argue with each other. No, he's the phony. What, me? This guy's suspicious.
Why? Over getting involved in a Discord channel. Unbelievable.
That's how good our Discord is.
Yeah.
People willing to make multiple alternate accounts to argue with each other simultaneously on separate devices.
No, I can't show you my Twitter account. Oh my Lord. The drama that we have that I don't want any fucking parts of. All right,
but if you want a part of that fucking drama, the link is in the show notes. At Cobra Kai and ProWrestlingTees.com/SuperJcast if you want to buy one of our t-shirts. Antonio, your t-shirt design will hopefully on the way. We'll be working on that. This big thanks to editor Dan. Find him on Twitter at LousyHero219. Subscribe to the Voices of Wrestling podcast network for other great shows. Give us a 5-snake review on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at SuperJcast.
Summer happens at Speedway because everything you need for summer happens at Speedway. Like drinks. Drinks happen. The freshly brewed drink, the splashed over ice drink, the wake you up drink, the cool you off drink, the make your brain hurt for a minute drink. All poured however you want them, whenever you want them, all summer long. So on every hot day, you have something cold to sip. Speedway. Summer happens here. And now, get any size fountain or Speedy Freeze for just 99 cents. Excludes maximum.
If you've ever been a renter, you know it's stressful to find a place with everything you love and nothing you don't. But did you know Zillow does rentals? It makes the search so easy. They have filters for pretty much everything, so you can find that place that's in your budget, but also isn't a shoebox. Or a place that's close to your parents, but far enough they have to call first. Plus, it's easy to apply, request tours, and pay rent in the app. Head to ZillowRentals.com and find your sweet spot.
Thank you everyone for listening, and goodbye.